Today, we're tackling a real political head-scratcher, the UK's Unwritten Rulebook.
So, when you picture a country's constitution, what comes to mind? Probably a single official document, right? Like what they have in the US or India. But what if I told you that one of the oldest, most stable democracies on the planet just doesn't have one? I mean, how does that even work?
Well, the secret is all in one word, uncodified. So let's unpack what that really means. Okay, first things first. Uncodified does not mean unwritten, not even close. It just means the rules aren't all packed into a single book. Think of it more like a collection, a mix of laws, court rulings, and just plain old customs that have been built up over hundreds and hundreds of years.
And this is where you really see the difference. A codified constitution, like the one in the US, is a single, formal document. It's meant to be rigid, really hard to change. But the UK's system, it's the total opposite. It's flexible, it's always evolving. You could almost say it's like a living, breathing set of rules.
So, if there's no single rule book, what's stopping the whole thing from falling apart? Well, it turns out the entire system is held up by three main pillars of power. And this first one, this is the big one. In fact, you could argue it's the single most important principle in the entire UK Constitution: parliamentary sovereignty.
The famous legal scholar A.V. Dicey really nailed it when he said, "Parliament can make or unmake any law." That one sentence, that's pretty much the foundation of the whole system.
And here's how it works in practice. It's incredibly simple and powerful. Step 1, Parliament passes a law. Step 2, that law is now the highest law in the entire country. And step 3, and this is the kicker, no court, not even the UK Supreme Court, can challenge it or strike it down. When Parliament speaks, that's the final word. Period.
Okay, pillar number 2 is the rule of law. And you can think of this as the great equalizer. It basically says that everyone, and I mean everyone, from you and me to the Prime Minister, is equal before the law. Nobody is above it. It means you can't just be punished for no reason, and our rights are ultimately protected by independent courts. And our third pillar is the power of convention. Now, these are fascinating. They're basically the unwritten gentlemen's agreements of the Constitution. They aren't actual laws you'd find in a book, but they're so important that everyone follows them. For example, there's no law that says the Prime Minister has to be a member of the House of Commons, or that a government has to resign if it loses a major vote. But they do, because breaking one of these conventions, while not illegal, would cause a massive political crisis, so their power is very, very real. Okay, so we've got these three big pillars holding everything up. But where do all the specific rules actually come from? To figure that out, we got to look at the Constitution's recipe. If you look at this breakdown, you can see all the different ingredients. The biggest chunk, by far, comes from statutes. Those are just laws passed by Parliament. Then you've got common law, which is basically law built up over time from judges' decisions. After that, we have those super important conventions we just talked about. And finally, there are things called works of authority, which are influential writings by legal experts that help guide how the system is understood. And you can see how these key statutes have literally built the Constitution piece by piece over an incredible amount of time. I mean, we're starting with the Magna Carta way back in 1215, and it just keeps evolving all the way up to modern laws like the Human Rights Act of 1998. This really shows you that this is a constitution that has grown and changed right alongside the nation itself. So all of this leads us to the UK system's most defining feature, and the biggest thing that sets it apart from other constitutions, its incredible flexibility. So let's say you want to change a really fundamental rule. In a place like the US, good luck. You're looking at a huge, complicated, multi-year process to pass an amendment. But in the UK, all you have to do is pass a simple act of Parliament. Yeah, the exact same process used for any everyday law can be used to change the very foundation of the country's government.
Just look at that number, 0. That is exactly how many special procedures or supermajorities are needed to change the UK Constitution. That, right there, is what flexibility looks like in the real world. It means the system can adapt, and adapt quickly to whatever new challenges come its way.
And that brings us right back to the puzzle we started with. If the rules are so easy to change, how on earth has the system been so stable for so long? It feels like a paradox, right?
Well, the answer is that what looks like its greatest weakness is actually its greatest strength. You see, because the Constitution can bend and evolve with the times, it doesn't break when it's put under pressure. Its flexibility is the secret to its endurance. It's constantly evolving, it's flexible, it's unwritten, and for centuries it has been unbroken.
And that really leaves us with a big question about how government should work. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Is a constitution stronger when it's written in stone,
or when it's given the space to breathe.